Alright, so we're doing the water pump on a 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee 3.6 liter. There's about 6 steps to this. First of all, we're going to remove this catch plate down here, this skid plate, so that we can drain the fluid. We'll drain the radiator fluid out of the bottom, and that needs to come off for that. And then we're going to remove the serpentine belt. We're going to remove the air intake manifold, the air intake, and then we're going to take off the bracket that holds on the alternator and whatnot, that little thing, that bracket, and then we're going to take the water pump off, and then we're going to put the new one on. Take off this skid plate on the bottom. There's going to be about 10 of these on both sides. Let's see, where's the other? I think, oh, there it is. And then this on this side. Oh, that one's already missing, so I'm going to need to replace that. 10 millimeter, and I believe that's a 1/2 inch. Could be like a 15 millimeter or whatever, but we'll see. And then you got these two, so get that. All right, we got the skid plate off. We got open access. Next part is draining the fluid out of the radiator. So we've left the serpentine belt on so that we can crank it and use the water pump's power to press the water out of here. This is the drainage valve. All right, so now we've got the serpentine belt cranking the water pump, and the water, the antifreeze, is coming out into the bucket and not onto the ground, because that would be bad for the animals and the environment, of course, right? Now this has to come off, the air intake manifold. We're going to take both of these ends off, and then there's also a little screw down here at the bottom. I believe it's like a 5 millimeter. It's really small. Maybe it's a, I don't know, something like that. It's right in the center. So that comes off, and then we'll take the serpentine belt off, and then we're going to get to the top bracket, and then after that we'll get to the water pump, and then we're good. All right, so now we're about to take the air sensor off, the O2 sensor, I believe, and the O-ring, and this will come off the air intake, and we'll remove this to get access to the next fun part. Okay, so we're keeping all of our spare parts, our screws and whatnot there. And now for the serpentine belt. So the serpentine belt will have a lever that will crank in and we'll release it. Oh, I actually need a new one. It's getting brittle. No, I guess it's okay. So then after that, we're going to remove this, and then the water pump is up underneath there, which we will access from the top. I noticed that when it's hot, the water spews out of that and all around there. There's a lot of steam coming out of there. So that's the next step. All right, and by the way, so now we're just going to trace this serpentine belt so we know exactly how to put it on. This is the lever, I believe, that will crank to get that down, and then it goes and under and up and over and under and up and over, and then so like that, just so we're well aware, and I'll take some pictures of that. All right, so now we're taking the serpentine belt off. This is the belt tensioner. You just use a 1/2 inch drive, ratchet, and pull it that way. As you see, it loosens it up, and then you just pull it off. This right here is the water pump. This right here is the alternator. That's the AC compressor. What the hell is that? I'm not even sure. Anyway. All right, we got the serpentine belt off. We're gonna take this little bezel off, give us better access to the water pump. And then the water pump will come out, and we'll replace it with the new one. All right, so we do have the water pump off. There is the place that it was. And now it's dark and raining. We got about 7 o'clock here. I've been fighting the rain for 2 hours, so it took me longer than I thought it would. We're going to start this up tomorrow, finish the job, and replace the part. And hopefully this shit stops leaking my antifreeze out and stops overheating.